While in the past many people didn't think about leaving much water in a stream or river for aquatic life, there are now new laws in Texas that require environmental flow. This is also called in-stream flow, and it's an amount of fresh water or flow left in a river or other water body that is adequate to support an ecologically sound aquatic environment. Allocating this amount of water to many streams in Texas can be complicated. In a number of river basins, permits have been issued for all, or even more than all, of the water that's present during dry periods. If all water rights are fully used, those rivers and streams would go dry during a drought, leaving nothing for fish and wildlife. This would cause problems for freshwater species all the way downstream and into the estuary and bay, where fresh water is important to saltwater ecosystems. New laws require that some water be set aside for environmental flows in areas where water rights permits are still available. Where all the water has already been allocated to someone, environmental water will need to be acquired over time. For example, existing water rights owned by others could be donated or purchased and allocated to environmental flows. We could also improve ways to use water efficiently, leaving more water to return to our water bodies for aquatic life. Figuring out how much water to leave in a stream to maintain aquatic life from the headwaters all the way to the bay is very complicated. The amount of water in a stream naturally varies by season, by location along the river, and by year. Different species and habitats need varying amounts of flow at different times, but the most critical time to ensure adequate environmental flows for aquatic species is during periods of drought. To help find out how much water is needed and how to get it, scientists and stakeholders come together to find answers. The streams, rivers, reservoirs, estuaries, and bays in each of Texas's basins are unique and have their own requirements for environmental flows. For study and planning, separate groups of scientists and stakeholders formed 11 river basins. Scientists conduct studies to determine how much fresh water should be left in streams at any particular location, as well as how much should flow out into the estuaries and bays to meet the needs of fish, wildlife, aquatic ecosystems, and people. Stakeholders are informed of scientific studies and come up with ways to protect and acquire more water for the environment. Stakeholders are people who have an interest in water allocation and who live in the river basins. They make suggestions that include water conservation and efficient use incentives, such as using treated wastewater or the purchase or donation of existing water rights.